Good evening, Carmen, and welcome to my second installment of Cooking with Wine. Tonight, I'm making lasagna and drinking, I don't know. You know why I don't know? Look at this. That's the label on the bottle. You can see that? Apparently on the back it actually does say it's from the Oriana winery, and it was a mistake. They accidentally combined some different varietals that they didn't mean to, and came up with this really good blend. Goes with just about anything: pasta, red meat, chocolate. So right now we are browning 3/4 of a pound of ground beef. Normally I would have sauteed some onions in here first, but my friends who are coming over for dinner don't eat onions, so we're skipping the onions this time. I am, however, going to put in a little bit of garlic. Rachel brought over this great organic minced garlic the other day. Saves a lot of time. And your fingers, I don't know if you've noticed, but peeling and chopping garlic, it's really hard on your fingers. And the stuff tastes just as good. So, I'm going to get this all nice and brown, and then we will mix the other ingredients. Okay. Ground beef is almost completely brown. The recipe says I'm supposed to drain the meat, but we buy 80% lean already, and this is another recipe that we're not, what?
93.
I'm sorry, 93% lean. So there's not going to be much to pour off anyway, and because we're skipping the tomatoes again, it's a little dry, so I'm going to leave it in there for that little extra liquid. So we are going to add now 8 ounces of tomato sauce and 4 ounces of tomato paste. For that classic Italian sauce flavor. Incidentally, that is the exact same tomato sauce that I put in the bolognese that helped make it into more of a sauce than just meat on noodles, which I've had in Milan, which is close to the northern Italian region that bolognese comes from, and yeah, their bolognese doesn't even have a sauce, so I actually like mine better. Okay, now got the tomato sauce in there. Oh, it's going to be nice and liquid. Also, because we eliminated tomatoes, I'm adding chopped fresh zucchini. I had thought maybe it would work well with frozen spinach, because that adds liquid too, but I polled my guests and they voted for zucchini. We'll see how this goes. Also, at this point, the recipe calls for the spices to be added. I tend to like to do it a little bit later, but I've only made this recipe a couple times, and one time it completely fell flat already, so I'm going to follow it more than I would if I was more comfortable with it. So, it also called for 2 tablespoons of dried basil and a tablespoon of dried oregano, but again, I used fresh plants, so I used 4 large sweet basil leaves and about 6 of those tiny little spicy oregano leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. It also calls for a little salt and pepper and some fennel, but I don't have fennel. And as I do with almost all my Italian foods, I put in a little Mrs. Dash. Because I just like it. Okay, so now we're supposed to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for 15 minutes. The recipe I'm using very, very old. I actually got the cookbook that it came from as my high school graduation present from my grandmother. So I got this book in '91. I'm sorry, no. It was later than that. It's marked Christmas '95. Still makes it an old recipe. Anyway, lots and lots of good recipes in here. I use it for everything, as you can tell by all my marked pages. So, we are going to let this simmer for a while. We'll do 10 more minutes now. Oh, I didn't hit kitchen timer. And while it's doing that, I'll combine the additional ingredients and have some more wine. Okay, now I have gotten here 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. They actually call for 2 cups, but apparently in the store they sell it in a 15-ounce container, so we're short an ounce, but that's alright. 1 pre-beaten egg and a 1/4 cup of it's grated Parmesan. We just use the shaky cheese that you put on spaghetti. You can substitute Romano for that, but I don't bother. I like cooking things that I already have most of the ingredients sitting around the house. This looks just about done. It says it's got a couple minutes left. Let me turn it down a little bit. Okay, so we've got egg, ricotta, and Parmesan in here. This will be our filling. Now, I wanted to get the regular lasagna noodles, but I couldn't find them anywhere. Apparently, all you can get anymore is this oven-ready stuff. So I went ahead and got the Berea rolled flat. The idea is, because it doesn't have the ridges, I'm going to miss the ridges because that makes really good classic lasagna, but they've designed it so that it fits into a 13 by 9 pan with just 3 pieces that fit together like this little puzzle. And according to the box, they will swell to fill the pan. So we'll see. This is my first time using this kind. I've used other kinds, and one thing or another always goes wrong. Either I don't have enough liquid in my meat sauce, or there was a piece of noodle sticking out further than the sauce. That boils down to it doesn't get enough liquid to soften and become a noodle, and it's still crispy, which is no good. So, just waiting for that to finish simmering, and then we'll start layering. Okay, we're ready to layer our lasagna. Now, you can do many layers, but it's really complicated doing all this layering crap, so I just do the 2 layers. So you've got your 1 layer of noodles already down, and then you do a layer of the cheese stuff. They call this filling, whatever. Try to get about half of it on there, and then it's just like the art or science of spreading it out. But you try to cover all of the noodle so that it can get the moisture it needs to become soft and fluffy and edible. Now, it's always what a mystery this is going to do once it hits the oven. But I'll just trust that Berea knows what they're talking about. Okay, ready for a meat layer, which is always fun because this pan is really, really heavy. Okay, but it should be a little bit easier to spread because the initial ricotta layer sticks those 3 lasagna noodles together. So this is just a matter of spreading this evenly across the ricotta layer, which takes very little time comparatively. But I have to go through all of this again for the second layer, so. Alright, so after our meat layer comes an entire layer of cheese. We have this pre-sliced mozzarella. which I believe last time I discovered is exactly enough to cover a 13x9 pan. So let's see if it is again. It says there's, how many slices? 12. Okay, so I take 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For layer 1. So we go 1, 2, 3. 4. 5. 6. Now, I'll let you know a little secret. This is where I screwed up the last time I made a lasagna. I completely forgot to put another layer of noodles. This time, I won't forget because you're watching me do it. Maybe. Maybe it's because it's now my 3rd lasagna that I've made without the help of Daniel Magallanes. Thank you very much for actually making my first lasagna for me. And now we'll do the next layer of this stuff, so we will. Okay, so we've got all 2 layers on here. Last step is to sprinkle the remaining 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan over the top. Slightly more evenly than I just did. And then we'll bake at 375 for a half an hour. And we'll see how it looks. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. Let's see how it looks. Oh, that looks better than the last one. Lasagna. And to go with our lasagna, I made a pecan pie earlier. So we will be having a lovely dinner with my lovely friends, John and Catherine. Come by. So, good night, Carmen. Next time. What? Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at the dog.
Oh. Did you find the ice cube?
Yeah.
It's like, stop.